Look, I just need to let you know the Lovecraftian confusion this recipe has brought to my life. When I first saw this recipe, I immediately turned to my roommate and made him watch it. We were horrified. We had a laugh, and we thought that was the end of the story of this video recipe, but it wasn't. Months later, he turns to me with some distant, confused stare. "What was that recipe?" he asked. "What recipe?" "I don't remember." His eyes locked onto mine with a sudden seriousness. "But you know the one." And I did. I did know. I remembered the feeling of confusion and terror that I had when I first saw the recipe, and that came back to my memory. But I couldn't tell you what recipe it actually was. Vague recollections began to form. It came out on Valentine's Day. I remember being unsure if it was a joke recipe or not. I was worried it wasn't. And even if it was a joke recipe, what if some poor fool who didn't know better and made it for their loved one because they were unprepared for the holiday at hand? Would the relationship always be tainted by this yet unremembered recipe? It was chocolate, I was sure, but chocolate what? Why was it so abhorrent? My brain had tried to save me and erase the details from my mind, but as soon as it was brought back into my life, a madness descended, and a relentless urge to scour my video history and find the answer to this mystery consumed me. What channel had published this? Did I save this cursed recipe? Did I like it, ironically? How could I ever find it again if I didn't know what it was? Hours of that day were sucked away, and I felt powerless to stop. Then finally, I found it. Chocolate mashed potatoes. I mean, it sounds bad, but not that bad. We laughed about it again, and I moved on. Or, rather, I tried to. That night, unable to sleep, the wretched recipe returned to my mind. Why chocolate mashed potatoes? Why instant mashed potatoes instead of real potatoes? Would it be any better with real potatoes? No, it couldn't be. What an absurd thought. Who did this? Was it made from evil intent or just rampant incompetence? I couldn't imagine what it would even taste like. I fell asleep, uneasy. Many nights since then, it all comes back to me. What does it taste like? What does it smell like? How could anyone make this? I try to banish it from me, but it keeps coming back. Whispers haunt my mind and cling to me as my consciousness fades. Make the recipe, they whisper, but no, that would be madness. I don't want to make the recipe. I don't want to satisfy that dark curiosity. Deep down, I know if I ever tasted this, my life would be bisected into before chocolate mashed potatoes and after chocolate mashed potatoes, and I would never be the same. So far, I've held out. At most hours of most days, I don't even think about this abomination. Then, suddenly, something will trigger it. The wafting smell from a hot chocolate, a vegetable puree in front of me, or another confusing, nonsensical top-down filmed video recipe, and it all comes back. I pray this madness fades from me, and that this curse never comes to my home and hearth. I pray I'm strong enough to resist the urge to make this and run the risk of tainting other people with a horrible knowledge no one else should have, and save them and myself from a burden not meant for sound minds. When a YouTuber searching the vast internet for new techniques of the culinary variety comes across recipes of a most blasphemous nature, it would behoove them to retreat from such turbid horrors with the greatest haste. Such bizarre and noxious concoctions tend to linger in the mind, to rot both sanity and palate. However, viewer beware, such ungainly horrors are far from the most profane fare to lurk in the dark, sepulchral corners of the endless web, And should you seek greater arcane knowledge of eldritch dishes, you need look no further than this gibbous dish most foul, the cold hot dog pie. I should have known better than to ever return here. I may never understand the horrible grip these recipes have over me, but the true character of your channel has come into sudden, clear focus. You are the harbingers of apocalyptic doom. You may not understand the evil you spread, but ignorance does not stop what you've started, and what you have continued to channel into our confined, vulnerable reality. I have learned my lesson from this mistake, and I will not repeat it. I will turn away from this next temptation. I will not open the link. I will not open the link. I will not open the link. I won't. I can't. At Ruthless Pandora, it appears that you too stare longingly into the alien abyss of these appalling and antediluvian meals. You who dare to brave the unnameable terrors of cuisine not meant for consumption by mere mortals, look on in spite of such palpitating dread. For many others, the most merciful thing in the world is the inability of the appetite to correlate all the flavors and palates. They live on a placid island of ignorant bliss amidst vast and briny seas of hazy broth, and it was not meant that they should voyage far beyond its shores, but you who are drawn to such ominous recipes teeming with nebulous horror, you are meant for greater and more terrible things. Turn your eyes to the wretched ham and bananas hollandaise and know that the time of such undigested delights draw nigh. I was one of the poor fools who made this recipe. It was terrible. And yes, it would taint your relationship forever. And it tastes like burnt potatoes mixed with bath. And the smell, oh God, the smell. It smelled like something had died. Those were just a few of the questions you brought up in your comment answered. Don't even bother wondering about this foul recipe. It's not worth your time. Now I'm hungry. Chocolate mashed potatoes. 5 out of 5 stars. As the kids say, YOLO. By Nicole McLaughlin. Recipe by Well Done. Active 5 minutes. Total 1 hour and 10 minutes. Yield serves 2. Serving sizes 2/3 of a cup. Ingredients: 1 cup chocolate milk, 1/3 cup water, 2 tablespoons powdered sugar, 1 tablespoon unsweetened cocoa, 1/8 teaspoon kosher salt, 1 1/3 cups instant potato flakes. Chocolate syrup is optional. Step 1. Whisk together chocolate milk, water, powdered sugar, cocoa, and salt in a small saucepan over medium-high. Bring mixture to a boil. Remove from heat. Stir in potato flakes. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of water if needed for desired consistency. Chill for 1 hour. Serve with chocolate syrup, if desired. Reviews. 1. Brandon Jenkins Hauberg. 5 stars. God will judge you harshly for this.